Coming up this week on the center of it all, State College is trying to break a world record. We show you how to help, and we are right in the middle of winter. See what you can do to help make clearing roads easier. Mel cooks up a meal that is good for any time of the day, and this week, our craft doesn't involve mason jars. Don't go anywhere, it's all coming up right here on the center of it all. Welcome to the center of it all. What do ice, lights, and world records all have in common? The Makespace in downtown State College has the answer.
So the Light Up State College project aims to bring the whole State College community together for a world record-breaking attempt to display these ice luminaries. We're hoping to have over 3,000 and have everyone in the community take part.
So we wanted to get the word out. We heard about this Night Cities Challenge grant, and we applied for it and won. And it's allowing us to get the word out about the Makespace and also get someone and the whole community, get people in the whole community involved in making something.
At different vendors throughout State College, you can pick up for no charge these kits to make your own ice luminary at home. It's pretty simple. It just has this bucket. We've got a pill bottle inside and a little dot of glue. So all you have to do is take the little dot of glue, stick it to the top of the lid and attach the pill bottle. Fill the whole container with water and stick it in your freezer overnight. And when you get done with it, you should have an ice luminary just like this one. We have other ice luminaries designs, like this star shape was made with our vacuum former in-house. We 3D printed this shape of a star. We put it on our vacuum former right here, which created an ice mold, just like this one. You fill that with water, put it in your freezer, and you get whatever shape you 3D printed. So we have a couple different fun designs that we're going to help people make. This is one that someone in our community had made, so just imagine that made out of ice with the light inside of it. There are other designs you can make with just a balloon, like this one that a community member brought in to show us. So you get a very nice spherical design just with materials you have around the house.
We want people to drop off ice luminaries from 2 to 5 p.m. and then when it gets dusk, we'll start counting the luminaries, and then we'll have a little ceremony. The current record from a little town in Sweden is 2,651. And we would, of course, need 2,652 for the record, but we'd like to do about 3,000.
Well, the goal for the Light Up State College project is to kind of share that spirit of making that we try to foster here at the Makespace, to teach people all the cool things they can do with the objects around them, and to give everyone kind of a project to gather around. So there's a way to engage your kids in the spirit of making, to come up with something very cool you can display at your own house and together with the rest of your community.
The event will take place on February 4th on Allen Street. For more information, you can visit lightupstatecollege.com. When we come back, we see what it takes to keep the roads safe and plowed during this snowy season. Welcome back. The snow is falling and snow plowers are working round the clock to keep the roads safe. But what can you do to help? We went to talk to some of the drivers and found out how just a few little changes can make their job a whole lot easier. Snow, ice, sleet, it all affects driving conditions. And where there's snow plows. But how deep does the snow have to get before roads begin to be cleared? How long does it take? When is salt used? These answers all depend on one thing: temperature.
If temperatures are going to drop and we got an inch out there and we know it's going to freeze fast, we'll plow with an inch of snow.
Temperature also affects how much salt is laid down. A denser snowfall won't melt as quickly, so roads may need more than one round of salt application. Salt is used to keep snow from bonding to the road surface, making it easier to plow.
Salt works best in higher temperatures, so that area of 28 degrees to 32 degrees, salt's going to work real well.
And if temperatures get below 21 degrees, that's when they use a calcium chloride salt mixture. But laying down salt isn't always the go-to solution.
We adopted a policy here a couple years ago where we plow more and salt less.
But that doesn't mean they aren't prepared. They are, with 600 tons of salt ready and on hand at all times. A normal winter, they can use as much as 1,000 tons with an average use of 50 to 100 tons per snowfall. But trying to plow and salt the roads while keeping up with snowfall isn't their only challenge, especially here in State College.
The home of Penn State campus, you know, there's 42,000 students on campus, so not only do we have vehicular traffic to deal with, the crews have pedestrians that they have to deal with on a daily basis. So when you're sitting in the seat of one of those trucks, it's very demanding and can be stressful, particularly in the downtown grid areas.
Stressful with long hours. The days are split into two 12-hour shifts. There's the salt crew and plow crew, each with about 10 to 12 guys.
It can be a hectic, long, busy day.
But what can you do to help make plowing and salting easier? Well, they had a few tips.
Keeping their vehicles off the streets helps snow removal process, speeds that along and we don't have to backtrack. You know, residents themselves, you know, if they're standing on the street looking at their house when they shovel their driveway, plow the snow to the left side of the driveway. So when the snow plow comes down the street, it plows the snow away and it doesn't push it back in their driveway. They can help themselves that way. People, they just want to clear their sidewalks and their driveways and get on with their life, and they don't realize, you know, they'll blow the snow back out in the streets. And oftentimes, you know, if temperatures drop after the sun goes down, then that refreezes and can create unsafe conditions for the traveling public.
Safety is their #1 priority. They want to get roads clear and salted as quickly and effectively as possible. If they had a say, they know exactly when they'd like the snow to fall.
Snowfall, if we had to choose when the snow came, it would be from 9 o'clock at night till 1 in the morning, and then typically our crews can have most of the streets plowed one time in 6 hours.
But since Mother Nature has a mind all her own, they must keep an eye on the weather so that they can let the community know when a storm may be approaching.
In State College, we have designated snow removal zones, and once the snowfall reaches 3 inches and we declare a snow emergency, then residents have to remove their vehicles from the streets until the snow's plowed back to the curbs. If it's something that we know is coming and it's going to be a big storm, then we'll put the notice out ahead of time so people can get their vehicles off the street.
They usually start plowing the main streets first, then the residential areas, and finally the alleys, parking lots, and bike lanes. Now with snow and winter comes dry skin. Take a look at how one dermatologist says you can fight it.
What I do think works and has been more incorporated lately is ceramides. Ceramides are molecules that are naturally found in the skin and help serve as a little bit of the glue between our individual skin cells.
Dr. Naxted said that as we age, we tend to lose some of our naturally occurring ceramide molecules. As a result, our skin barrier gets weaker. While they're not a perfect replacement, creams that contain ceramides can help restore some of the barrier function of the skin. Dr. Naxted also said that creams tend to work better than lotions and that folks with exceptionally dry skin should try petroleum jelly type products. He said that oils can be good too. Products like almond oil, coconut oil, and even olive oil work well for some folks, but Dr. Naxted cautions against using traditional baby oil products. Dr. Naxted said there are new products coming out all the time, but a lot of times it's best to stick to what's tried and true and what you know will work for your skin type.
Ironically, a lot of times they have excess ingredients, fragrances to give it that baby-like smell that we associate with that marketing. So for the most part, I don't recommend baby type products for my adult patients.
When we come back, Mel has a recipe with some simple ingredients but big flavor. Welcome back to the center of it all, cooking noodles, frozen vegetables, and chicken all together. What could be easier? This week we're having lo mein. Take a look.
What does Chinese lo mein have in common with Italian-American spaghetti? When you're hungry for a bowl full of noodles, you want them now, immediately, ASAP. Join me right here, right now, and watch while I make up a batch of my easy, no pain, stay sane lo mein. Lo mein, it literally means tossed noodles. In China, it implies a method of cooking in which previously cooked noodles are tossed into any kind of a stir-fry at the end of the cooking process. The result is the noodles soak up some of the sauce and all of the stir-fry gets tossed throughout. Now, I've cooked some traditional lo mein noodles this morning, and spaghetti works just great, but the only thing you need to know is lo mein noodles are going to cook up in a really short 3 to 4 minutes. Spaghetti's going to take about 11 to 12. The first thing we're going to do is make our stir-fry sauce. And I've started out with 6 tablespoons of soy sauce in a little cup or a bowl. And I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 3 tablespoons of hoisin sauce, which is a little bit sweeter. I've got 3 tablespoons of sriracha for some heat, and 3 tablespoons of sesame oil for a nice nutty flavor. Just stir these together. Now this is going to serve as your sauce and your marinade for your chicken. Now I am using chicken tenders today. You can use pork tenderloin if you'd like to make pork lo mein. And I've taken for each tender, I just chop it in 3 big long pieces, and then I cut through it into a nice small dice. And scoop that up, I put it in a bowl. And what I'm going to do is going to add all of my chicken, and I have anywhere between 1.5 and 2 pounds will work great if you want to feed 4 people. Get that into a Ziploc bag. And what we're going to do, we're going to add about 1/4 cup of our marinade to the chicken. Just enough to let it start absorbing some flavor. That's about right. I'm going to zip this bag closed. And then I'm just going to massage this for a minute or two, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. And I'm going to set this aside 10-15 minutes up to an hour and set up for our stir fry. I've got my electric skillet set to about 250 degrees, and I'm going to start with 1, 2, maybe 3 tablespoons of sesame oil. I'm just going to swish it around a little bit, coat the bottom of the pan. Now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of ginger paste and 1 tablespoon of garlic paste. And I'm just going to stir these into the oil. And you want them to cook about 30 to 40 seconds, just until, yeah, that's what you want. You want to get a nice little pop, and they want to be really fragrant. Now it's time to add all of our chicken and the marinade. And I'm going to keep this moving till the chicken is just cooked through, and that's going to take about 3 minutes. This is exactly the 3-minute mark, and the chicken's opaque and just about cooked through to the center, so it's time to start adding some vegetables. I'm going to start with, I have about a generous cup of thinly sliced onion. I have about 1.5 cups, 2 cups frozen peas and carrots. Frozen broccoli will work well. Don't even take the time to thaw it. And I'm a mushroom lover, so I'm adding a 6-ounce jar of sliced mushrooms. And we're going to stir fry this until the peas and carrots are just barely thawed out. And that's going to take about another 3 minutes too. We're coming up on the second 3 minutes, are just about over with. Onions are crunch tender. Peas and carrots are still really bright in color. Everything smells fantastic. I'm going to add sauce now, which was once marinade, now sauce. And I'm just going to drizzle this in. But I'm going to hold a little bit out, maybe, a little less than 1/4 of a cup, not all of it all at once. Get this all tossed through here. And now we're going to add our noodles. And they might be a little bit stuck together because they've been sitting in the bowl, but don't worry about that. They're all going to come apart in a second. Now we just toss these in. Now we want to lower the heat a little because we really don't want to cook the noodles any more than they've already been cooked. We just want to get them tossed into our stir fry. Okay, I'm going to turn off my heat, take a taste, drizzle in more sauce if I think it needs it, and then we're going to eat. The secret to a great stir fry is a great stir fry sauce. And this little concoction that I made today, which is a 2-to-1 ratio of soy sauce to equal parts oyster, hoisin, sriracha, and sesame oil, takes a back seat to none. I keep it on hand in my refrigerator, and I use it in all sorts of Asian dishes. You should too. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website.
When we come back, a craft that will take you 1 minute or less. Welcome back to the center of it all. For our craft this week, we're mixing a little bit of fall and winter. So it's really easy. We're not doing mason jars because all the jars we've used, we have all these leftover lids. So I wanted to do something just with the lids themselves. So all you need is the round circular part of the lid. I have some gold and silver ones. I'm just gonna kind of alternate between the two. Now I have the Mod Podge and the salt, which is also already things you already had. I'm not going to use them for this craft, but if you wanted to, ultimately what we're going to do is put them all together and they're going to look like a pumpkin. I have the Mod Podge and the salt. If you wanted to, you can just put some Mod Podge all over the lid and then put the salt on it for a snowy effect. And then you have a snowy pumpkin that's kind of both a great mixture of fall and winter. But for this one, I'm not going to use either one of these. So all you need is some lids, hemp, and a few cinnamon sticks. So first what you're going to do is you're gonna get some hemp, and then I just cut 2 arms length. And you're gonna just thread the hemp through the rings. You want them to all go the same way so that they form a circle. If you put them on differently, then you're gonna have some pumpkin trouble. So it doesn't really matter which way you go, but just as long as it's the same direction. Okay, so once you have them all threaded on, you're just gonna pull the hemp into a circle, and then you're gonna tie it. And you can fight and shape the lids after you tie it. So I'm just gonna do a knot. Okay, and then you're just gonna cut the extra hemp strings off. Okay, and then you're just gonna get a little round, something like this. And now here's where your cinnamon sticks are gonna come in. You're gonna put them in the middle. It's gonna help hold the shape of the pumpkin, and it's also gonna be the stem. And you're just gonna stick them in the middle. And then if you frosted these with the Epsom salt earlier, then it's gonna have kind of that snowy, wintry feel too. So that's just something that you can do with all the extra lids you had lying around from all the mason jars. So you can use bigger lids, you can use smaller lids. It'll change the size of the pumpkin, but you just want to have enough that you can make that full circle. You can do different sizes and have kind of a different kind of display, gold, silver, whatever your own personal preference is. That wraps up this week's Center of It All. Be sure to check our YouTube channel for any episodes you may have missed. Thanks so much for joining me. Enjoy your Sunday.